Are you still running Windows 10 in your environment or Windows 10 multi-session? If so, have you upgraded? Why not? You need to, because October the 14th, you will no longer be supported. Okay, so it'll still continue to work, but Microsoft are going to stop putting updates and security updates and support and that kind of stuff. So you have to upgrade to Windows 11. So Windows 10 22H2 is the current latest version, and that'll be the last version that you can use with Windows 10. So in today's video I'm going to explain how you can upgrade to Windows 11, especially if you're running Windows multi-session, okay, which is normally what you use for like Azure Virtual Desktop or maybe Windows 365 or Citrix or VMware environments. The key thing here is Windows multi-session doesn't offer in-place upgrades, right? So if you go to Windows Update like you can with like standard OS, you'll get upgrade to Windows 11. You don't get that with the multi-session because it's not officially supported. But what we're going to do in today's video, we're going to show you a little workaround, okay? And there's little few tricks that you have to do. We have to basically convert the VM from a Gen 1 to a Gen 2 and enable trusted launch, enable TPM chips and that kind of thing. And then once we've done that, we can then upgrade. But again, there's a little hack that you have to do to get it to upgrade. So that's today's video. Really looking forward to it. So if you are stuck, then please make sure that you watch the video because it'll tell you how you can get there. Okay. As I mentioned, the standard way of upgrading is you just go to Windows Update or you push out via Intune or ICCM. That's not available in multi-session. Okay, so Microsoft don't let you do that. We are going to do a workaround which will enable you to do that. Now I'm going to put a big disclaimer on there. This is not supported, right? This is not what I recommend. This is something that you want to do if you are really stuck, right? As in you don't have time to create a new image, or you have an application installed on your image that you just don't know how to reinstall, for example. I highly suggest if you can, create a brand new image and install the applications, because that may take you a day or two, but trust me, the amount of time that you'll get spent troubleshooting, trying to get if you do the in-place upgrade and stuff doesn't work and random stuff, you'll spend a lot more time. As I say, this is the backup option. Okay, so if you are able to create a brand new image with the applications, please stop watching the video, right? If you do want to go down and do the quick and easy method, but realize that you won't be supported, then carry on. But just be aware that it could cause issues. Okay, all right, let's get to it. So we're gonna split this into two parts. First part is upgrading it to enable the trusted launch and vTPM chip, and the second part is actually doing the in-place upgrade itself. Okay, all right, so let's get to it. So the first prereq that we have to have is basically enable trusted launch, vTPM and secure boot on the actual virtual machine itself. So by default, when you create a Gen 1 VM, its security type is set to standard. And when the security type is set to standard, it basically means that we can't enable trusted launch, we can't enable the vTPM chip or anything like that. Microsoft actually recently released a capability to do that in public preview. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So I'm just going to head over to documentation to show you what that process actually looks like, and then we'll actually go and do that process. This is the new capability, and you can see here it's in preview. And basically there's a couple of prereqs that we have to run through, right, just to make sure that everything's okay. So you can actually ignore this one, and this is when it's in private preview. I got caught out by this because I thought this wouldn't work, it's not enabled, but I've tried it and it does work. The VMs need to be trusted launch supported size family, so obviously trusted launch is not enabled on that VM, it's not going to work. So I'll put on the screen what those VMs are. Azure VM features currently not supported with trusted launch, so again we'll put those on the screen when you're watching the video. And if this is quite a key one, so if Azure backup is enabled, the VMs need to be configured with an enhanced backup policy, right? So if you are backing up your golden images, for example, we need to make sure that they're running that enhanced backup policy as well. And what else we got? So disable any encryption. So if you got stuff like BitLocker or any third-party encryption enabled, we need to make sure that's basically disabled. Then of course some unsupported configuration. So because this is public preview, which basically says it's not supported on public workloads, right? Obviously if you are need to get this done, then you can probably do it, but make sure you back up your virtual machine. And if you try and log and support it from Microsoft, you probably won't be supported. Just be careful with that one. Operating systems, we're running Windows 10 multi-session, so we don't need to worry about that. Again, trusted launch size. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And the process is actually quite simple. It just takes a few minutes. So essentially what we need to do, we just need to run these commands. So we'll run through that in a second. We run these, and then basically once you've done that, you basically just need to run some additional PowerShell commands to update the actual trusted launch. Enable vTPM equals true and enable secure boot. And then once you've done that, fingers crossed, you'll be able to fire up your VM. And there's just some known boot stuff in there as well. That's pretty much the plan. So now we'll actually go ahead into the Azure console and we'll actually perform the update. All right. See you shortly. Bye. So the first thing we need to do is to validate that we can actually upgrade the disk that we need to run TPM chips and secure boot. So let's go and do that first, shall we? So just going to head over to the console, and then we can see the command that we need to run. So first we need to validate it, and then once we validate it, we actually then run command and do the conversion. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so it's validated completely successfully, so now we actually need to run the command to do that. So the command we run is mbr-gpt/convert/allow full OS. Okay, so let's run that now. So you can see this is actually going away and creating the EFI. See here, it's completed successfully. However, we have got a slight error message, but we won't worry too much about that. So we can see that the Microsoft documentation is actually saying that's not actually an issue. So the warnings indicated it was unable to update the recovery partition GUID. The issue shouldn't cause an issue with guest OS functionality or further upgrade operations like Windows upgrade to succeed or Windows 11 to work properly post upgrade. Okay, so I'm going to ignore that for now. Hopefully the OS will boot. So basically what I'm going to do now is just give this VM a reboot, and then hopefully it'll start back up again, and then we can run some further commands to enable the TPM chip functionality. Okay, back in a second. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is we're going to run the PowerShell script, which will convert the VM into TPM. So let's just to verify, so now the current state of the VM, if you go into overview, this is the VM is currently stopped, and we don't have anything, so security type is just set to standard. Okay, and you can see here we're unable to change that. So basically we're going to run this PowerShell script, which will change it hopefully to what we need it to be. So just going to go to here. So we're going to connect to the Azure subscription. We're going to stop the VM, but it's already stopped. We're going to get to the VM details, and then we're going to enable secure boot and the vTPM equals true. Yeah, so that should be it, and then it's going to start the VM up. So let's give it a try. Okay, so now it's saying trusted launch is enabled. Okay, so the PowerShell script is completed, and you can see that's gone. Now let's head over into Azure Portal and see what the actual difference is. We go into here, and so you can see now the configuration is now saying trusted launch virtual machine. Okay, so before it was just saying standard, and we can see secure boot and a vTPM is enabled. Okay, so now let's just make sure that the VM is actually booting up. So it says running, so we just head over to boot diagnostics, and there you go, we can see the actual logon screen. So this is a good sign. And now let's actually go and just try a log on to the actual VM itself. So let me just double check I've got the right VM here. So this is which VM? Yeah, 10.00.26. Okay, so I'm just going to get the VM. It's a good sign. We've got a login screen. Okay, this is looking good. Okay, and we are successfully logging into the machine. If we now just go into here, have a look at the disk configuration just to make sure that's now changed. Go to disk management. Yeah, and there you go. We can see we've got this EFI system partition there. Yeah, that looks like that's been successful. Okay, so what we've basically done is we've run the PowerShell commands to convert a Gen 1 VM, okay, which would have been Windows 10, and enable it for a trusted launch and secure boot, and also enable the vTPM chip. Now, what this now then enables us to do is we can now go and successfully upgrade that VM to Windows 11, because without those two prereqs in place, it wouldn't have worked. Okay, so let's go and do that now, shall we? Right, so now we've upgraded the disk, it's actually time to upgrade the actual operating system. All right, so let's give this a test, shall we? On this VM, so this is my golden image. Okay, so we can also do the same process on a session host if you wanted to, just to verify. So just go to Windows just to show you. So this is Windows 10 22H2, and it's running Windows 10 Enterprise with Virtual Desktops, which is multi-session essentially. Okay. All right, so I've downloaded Windows 11 already. Okay, a little tip for you: make sure you get the right language, otherwise the upgrade will fail. Right, so obviously by default Azure VM's sort of US. So I failed miserably the first time around when I was testing this morning because I downloaded the English version, which wouldn't work. Just be careful there. So we've got this ISO. So I'm just going to mount that. So just going to open that up, and then we are going to run the setup. Okay. So this is the Windows 11 upgrade media. So it's not multi-session specific. It's just like the generic Windows 11, because Windows 11 multi-session is actually under the hood exactly the same as the normal version. Right? There's nothing fancy in there. If we run the upgrade media, it will still run like Windows 11 multi-session. Okay. So we're going to click next just to make sure it's going. So that's just going to go away now. It's going to basically check to see if there's any updates that it needs to download. So this takes a while, so we'll be back shortly. Okay, so it looks like we are ready to go. So it's passed all the prereqs, it's done the update. We're ready to go ahead and do the install. We're just going to click on the install button, and then that's going to go ahead, and fingers crossed it will install Windows 11 multi-session. Okay, let's do it. So you can also choose what to keep if you want. So we're going to keep everything. So keep personal files and apps. So you can, obviously this is application server, so you want to keep everything, but you can also completely wipe it as well. But again, don't see any point in that. You just create a new VM. So yeah, we're going to keep personal files and apps. So click next. Yeah, so then now it's going to go ahead and do the actual upgrade. So excited to see if this works. Fingers crossed it will. The only thing I mention is, obviously I don't recommend this. This is something you would do if you were desperate. Okay, if you had an application install on there which was very complicated and no one knew how to install, and you really needed to do the upgrade to keep in support, then this is the method that you use. I always advise creating a new image if you can, because always having a nice clean new image just makes things a lot easier. You'll spend hours troubleshooting stuff only to find out that it was something simple and stupid. 99.9% of the time I'd say go for a fresh upgrade, go for a new image. Only use this method if you are stuck. Okay, so if you're short on time, if you've got application issues, that type of thing, because the likelihood of having problems after doing this is greatly increased compared to if you did it via a fresh virtual machine. Okay, so just be very careful when you do this method, and obviously make sure you back up your VMs as well when you're doing it. So before we go ahead and do all this, make sure you take a good backup from the Azure portal. Okay, so we're gonna sit here and wait for this to do its stuff, and then we'll be back shortly, hopefully with a Windows 11 multi-session image. Okay, so it's ready to install. So let's install Windows 11 multi-session, keep files, yep, okay, and then click the install button. So that's going to go away, and you can see here it's going to restart several times, and yeah, this is going to take a good while, probably going to take at least, I don't know, half an hour. So we'll come back when we're ready to go, and hopefully with a in place Windows 11. Alright, see you shortly. So as you can see, we're now at the final stages. It's going to restart in a few moments, and then hopefully when it reboots we'll be fully upgraded to Windows 11. So if you want to check the console to see what the status is, if you go to the boot diagnostics tab, you can actually see there what the console is actually saying. That's a good place to look to see if there's any potential issues. Okay, so you can see here the VM's rebooting, so it's working on the update. So if you do get disconnected from your RDP session while you're running this, don't worry, this is why. Okay, and so this will probably sit there for about another 2 or 3 minutes, and then hopefully when it's finished we'll be able to log on to the VM. Okay, so now we're just going to go and check to see. So it's currently 98%, but sometimes it lets us log in. So let's give that a try. So this is the virtual machine. Okay, so it's letting us log in, which is a good sign. Okay, so we just need to confirm the privacy settings. So we're not going to click anything. We're just going to click accept straight through. And there we have it. So we are launched into the desktop, which is a very good sign. And then just make sure that we're still on multi-session. So there you go. So say Windows 11 multi-session. So that's a successful upgrade. There you go. I wasn't too sure whether that was actually going to work or not. Now, I have been speaking to a few people about this who have done this in their experiences, and it's not been great. So people who have successfully performed the upgrade, and they've reported issues with like applications and just weird stuff happening, which is why I mentioned previously is, look, if only do this if you have to. It's much quicker and much easier to do a clean upgrade. But obviously with Windows 10 going out of support soon, then you need to get this done as soon as possible. And this is a quick and easy. Saying that quick and easy, I mean, it did take a good while from start to end. I think this process has taken me around 2.5 hours to do the upgrade. There's been a lot of downloading ISO files, a lot of preparing and stuff. It's certainly not a quick process. It may just been the same amount of time to create a new VM and install some applications, but it's definitely, if you do have those kind of applications installed on the desktop and you don't know how to reinstall them, this is the only way that you can get this done. Okay, all right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, till next time, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, bye bye.